Good morning, everybody. There's absolutely no pressure in following Olga and Javi in presenting, but I'll do my best. But it's an absolute honor and a privilege for me to stand here today and share a little bit about my journey. You see, I found myself in a place where corporate politics and toxic agendas ruled the company that I was part of. Under new management, the motto was, fit in or leave. I promise you the original motto, the words were a lot more colorful than what I use today. It was both frightening and very heartbreaking when I lost 22 of my colleagues in 1 year, purely because they did not fit into the culture of the company anymore, or they were intimidated into leaving. But my greatest battle was not at work. My greatest battle was at home. I was stuck in a 20-year relationship that was both toxic as well as abusive. I wasn't going to cry. That's my first time telling my story publicly, so please bear with me. Okay, I'll get it together. Okay, let's get it together. The continuous instability of these kinds of relationships left me disoriented, suffering from anxiety, depression, chronic post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as continuously living in that fight-or-flight state. Because I needed to be ready every single day for whatever that day might bring. The toll of living in this kind of situation did not only affect my mental health, but it also affected my physical health. I started gaining weight that no matter what I did, I just could not lose that weight. I started losing my hair. I started developing various intolerances and many other things that went wrong in my body. My body was riddled with pain, and I remember most mornings waking up, and when I got out of bed, I couldn't walk for a few moments because of the pain I was experiencing under my feet. I saw a doctor that then did some tests, and when the results of the tests came back, he looked at me and he said, "What is going on in your life that it looks like you are living on the front line of World War III?" I quietly just smiled and thought to myself, if only you knew. Every day I put on my happy face and went out to work and pretended that nothing was wrong, was one more day that I was losing myself. Yes, it was a coping mechanism to deal with the traumas that I was experiencing, but it was not a way to live. For the sake of my children and myself, I needed to change things. I decided to leave the marriage, but little did I know that I was actually preparing for a 2-year battle that I would title the battle of my life. These relationships are usually very manipulative, controlling, and laced with intimidation. I was threatened in various ways, which then resulted in I realized that I would not be able to leave the marital house while I was battling this situation. So I had to stay right there, battling on the front lines, living under the same roof as the person that I was trying to free myself from. At times I did not feel safe in my own house. And I remember a particularly traumatic day when all I wanted was just to find a safe place where I could hide. And like a little girl, I went to hide in my closet. Behind my clothes, in the dark, I sat there for 2 hours, in the fetal position, just holding myself tightly, trying to calm down my nervous system. Last November, I finally made it out and moved into my own place with my 3 precious children. Thank you. On the 13th of December, I received a phone call from a friend. We were discussing other business ventures that we were part of, and my health came up as a topic. Carlo, who's sitting over there, he told me about LifeWave and how it could change my life. Being part of the pharmaceutical industry for 26 years, the incredible science behind this product and the product itself really grabbed my attention. Not to mention that I also was desperate for something to change my health. I signed up immediately. Talk about having the right conversation at the right time with the right person under the right circumstances. I truly believe that that phone call was God ordained. Because of the trauma my children and I experienced, I decided that I was going to take them on a holiday just so that we could regroup as a family. That also meant that I wasn't going to receive my X39 in time for me before I left for Cape Town. Due to the immense stress that I was under, the hair loss was now out of control. I don't know if you can... Oh, must I do it? Like I can handle that as well. Okay, there we go. So you can't see this side, but I was losing clumps and clumps of hair every time I washed my hair. The photo on the top there was actually taken last year, December. And you can see the other photo. I've got a lot more hair, and that was actually taken just a week or two ago. When I spoke to Carlo and I said to him, I'm not going to have my product in time, he said to me, here's a number of a guy, phone him, he might be able to help you. That guy was Chris. I met Chris in the parking lot of Bryan Park Shopping Centre. And in the parking lot there, we stood talking, and he was telling me a little bit about his story and how just being on X39 for 4 days started lifting his brain fog as well as his depression. I don't know if you can remember, Chris, but you got emotional that day. And you said to me that you don't even understand why you're getting emotional because you've told the story so many times before. Well, this is my hypothesis. You didn't know me. You didn't know my journey. You didn't know what I just made through. But in your hands, you had my order of X39. In your hands, you had a key. The very key that unlocked you out of your depression. You were about to hand that very same key over to me. And that key would unlock me out of my darkness. So maybe for some reason that is bigger than you and I that we might not understand, I do believe that you felt the magnitude of that exchange happening in that day, and that's why you felt it in your emotions. I want to just pause here and say that above everything else, I credit God, Jesus, my Lord and Savior, for bringing me through this dark time, because I would never stand here before you today if He wasn't with me, walking me through the valley of the shadow of death, because He truly showed me that Psalm 23 is a reality. But I also believe He uses His people, His vessels, to perform His plan and His purpose in our lives. And those vessels in my life was Chris, Lucinda, and Carlo. On the 16th of January, my divorce was final this year. And 1 month into, just after my divorce, I started feeling emotions that I was not so sure what to do with it. Because if you think about what I've explained to you, was 2 months old, and my divorce was a month old, I was experiencing utter joy. I was hearing sounds that I haven't heard in a long time before, and that startled me in the beginning when I heard it, and that was my own laughter. My kids started experiencing a mother that they never knew, and I was just so grateful for the happiness that I was experiencing. I attribute this to the amazing power of X39. My depression became so insignificant that I managed to actually wean myself off my antidepressants, and I do want to caution you, only do that with the consent of your physician. But that was the level of freedom that I experienced. Not only was my health improving, but as of from the 1st of October this year, I'm doing LifeWave full-time as my main business. We all know it's not, I think I missed something, but we all know that it's not easy to speak to people about this business because not everyone is always ready to receive the message that we have. But today I want to encourage you, do not give up. In this very audience today, I have 3 people sitting here that I spoke to about LifeWave. And it took them 4, 5, and 1 other person a year before they even signed up. And I'm so proud to say that they are part of my team today. You sit with an opportunity in your hands here today. The keys that can change someone's life. I want to mention it wasn't another company in my industry that reached out to me and saved me out of my distress at work. It was a phone call. A phone call from a friend that cared enough to share LifeWave with me. That very phone call was the origin of the journey that leads me to where I'm standing on the stage speaking to you today, from a place of victory, from a place of healing, and from a place of freedom. That is the power of network marketing. Please speak to the people, people speaking to people, changing people's lives one conversation at a time. So pick up that phone and call that person that's been on your heart and on your mind for the past 3 days, because you might just be holding onto their keys that can unlock them out of whatever situation they might find themselves in. Embrace this journey, no matter how long or impossible it seems. Run with this incredible product, phenomenal company, and community that I like to call my LifeWave family. Thank you, everybody.